Get a cup of coffee in here, please.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Not really. No. There's nothing funny left in this world. Rock and roll, cool though. Oh, I'm digging it. Could use a little rock. Are you ready to rock? Oh, yeah. Good morning, folks. It is, what the hell is it? It's Monday, right? It's Monday. July 24th, 2023. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are on this dopey planet we live on. And making the best of a bad situation. What do I mean by that? Bad situation? Well, this thing X is probably the biggest story in the news, and it's silly. It's pretty silly. Elon Musk and his team of incompetents have rebranded or tried to rebrand Twitter as X. You notice the icon in your browser is still the bird, not the X. It still says Twitter search. It still says Twitter all over the site. Twitter.com/home. No redirects there. There's Twitter all over this thing, but because they have an X on it, they feel like they've rebranded. Now, the plan or the idea he has, and let me see if I can find this dopey Linda Yukatalaka bing bing bang bang bang, whatever her name is, the woman behind the woman in charge of the Twitter crap. So the big honcho. Elon's bitch. Here she goes. X is the future state of unlimited interactivity, centered in audio, video, messaging, payments, banking, creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities powered by AI. X will connect us all in ways we're just beginning to imagine. No, thank you. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say no, thank you. You want something that's going to be all that, handle your messaging, payments, and banking. You want to trust Elon Musk to that. Now, I know a lot of people have before with the PayPal stuff. But listen, they don't control my bank. I have used PayPal, and I know he doesn't own that anymore. He sold his shares years ago. But to some extent, we have all. This is the internet, which he's describing here. X is the future state of unlimited interactivity. Well, that's the internet. You want to be all the internet in this one little dopey app website, centralized under his control. No, thank you. No, thank you. Centered in audio, video, messaging, payments, banking, creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. You couldn't even handle a rebrand with competence. You think I'm going to let you control all of my life? No. Won't be long for Twitter. I don't like people who say, well, I'm getting out of here. I'm looking at numbers today. plan on looking at numbers and seeing, do the numbers actually justify, give me any reason to be on Twitter? Because I use Twitter to promote this show and let people know what's going on. And does it actually translate into any viewers? I think not. Originally, got a lot of people from there, guests from there. I got some listeners and people from there, but not a whole lot. And is it really worth it spending all this time on there and investing in what ends up being no fun? No fun. It's not a good use of my time. So, you know what? I'm looking at Threads. I wish Threads had a web version, desktop version, because I'm not a phone guy, and I probably won't be. I'll probably die being a desktop guy. I know phones are, the small device in your hand is the way of the future, and most people are gravitating towards that. I won't. I can't. I can't. I can barely read it. Uh, and I definitely can't type with my thumb. So I probably don't have long for this world anyway. But being honest, come on. So but Twitter and X, I'm going to be an old guy. X's and O's. I'll be the old guy. But so that's the big talk. I mean, he just changed the bird in the corner to an X, but he forgot to change it in the browser icon. I forget what they call that. It's just like a ICO, ICO that you put on your app or your web to make the browser show the X instead of the bird. Excuse me, I have allergies going on here. But it just seems silly. Now on Twitter, uh, we have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, "We don't need World War III. We need a Civil War II." Tim Pool says, "We are in a civil war." These people are just fucking stupid. Realize that during the Civil War in America, 600,000 Americans died. Rivers ran red full of blood. There were fields, backyards, and farms, and streets and cities lined with dead bodies. Terrible, terrible situation. We don't need, she says, we don't need World War III. We need Civil War II. If anybody is really wishing for that, they should do a history lesson and see, and just watch Ken Burns' Civil War and tell me that's what you really want. I bet you she has no fucking clue what really went down during the Civil War. Because anybody who was actually wishing for that would have to be insane. Listen, most of us, truth is, most of us would not survive that. Most of the old folks. I mean, you take cover. You think people my age are ready to fight a fucking war? Most of them can't even get out of bed. Some of them have trouble getting out of their pickup truck. It's just crazy. We are not ready, and I'm sure certain some people think they're ready for a civil war. Some fat old beer drinking, I got my pickup truck, I got my guns, I'm ready for a civil war. And then, push comes to shove. They get their ass kicked pretty quick. Most of the big talking tough guys are totally out of shape, fat fucks, soft white underbelly people who have been spoiled their whole lives. They're not ready for civil war. It's not like Jesse James is ready to. Jesse James was 16 years old and one of the fiercest fighters in the Civil War. That's who makes up the Civil War. And those people, I hate to say it, Marjorie Taylor Greene, those people are your enemy. The young people of America are vastly against these red hats, if you will. So, wishing for that stuff. But Tim Pool, that we are in a civil war. Dude, wake the fuck up. You've never even been in a fight, much less a war. You think this is a war? We had much bloodier times, much worse violence in 1968 than we have right now. I lived through it. The 60s we had race riots every year in our school. Every year from like 1967 to about 1974, there were race riots in my local high school. But there were riots in the streets. There were, we had construction workers facing off against kids protesting. We had the United States government sending the National Guard to shoot protesters on campus. This is not a civil war. And for Tim Pool to say that, you just want to smack the beanie off his stinky head. I know I do. I should say I want to smack the beanie off his stinky head. You might not feel that way. Maybe I can talk you into it. I would love the opportunity for that. Anyway, this is going to be a very short show. I don't have any guests scheduled for today. I have one for tomorrow and one for Thursday and one for Wednesday evening. Other than that, this is a light week. I have been disappointed and feeling, after I said this, I called this on Friday when I was talking to Carl about somebody who might be coming on the program, which is still a possibility in the not too distant future, a big name guest. And I have lots of feelers out there. I put out so many emails and requests for interviews from people you would recognize their names from. I haven't heard back from them, and it gets disappointing. And, keeping an even keel has never been my strength in life. It always feels like, yeah, things are going good. You're about to take off, and then bad till you take a step back into doldrums. And so Friday was on a high, thinking, yeah, I'm going to get some really, and let's face it, I have had some really uh, pretty good guests in the last month or so, or even more than that. But, every time I get a rejection or a non-answer, I let it affect me. It beats me up. It hurts. It bothers me that people don't even give me an answer, whether they will or won't. Totally disregard me like I'm a nobody, and I am a nobody to them, and I get that. But at some level, that hurts. I'm being honest here. Speaking of being honest, somebody remarked on Friday. I did 2 reasons I'm running for Congress, and somebody who just chose to get angry at that left a comment on it that um, I'm not surprised you're running for Congress. All politicians are liars. You should run for president. I guess suggesting the fact that I am like George Santos, pathological liar. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about uh, lies and liars. And if I am going to be honest, I have to admit, I'm a liar. So are you. I mean, there isn't a person on the planet, and anybody who tells you they've never lied, that's an indication that they just lied. Uh, Everybody lies. Now there are degrees of lies, and we hear about the ideas about little white lies and important big lies. No matter what, I've told some pretty big lies in my life. I've told some pretty small lies in my life. The small lie in my mind would be, I'm not going to come in your mouth. uh, and depending on which end of that, I guess you're on. could be a big, could be a big lie if you're on the receiving end of it. Um, but regardless, we all lie from time to time, and I think I got lied to this morning in a small way. Ever calling sick when you're not really sick? That's a lie. But I think, and I have made an effort since, I don't know, the last 20 years or so, to be really transparent about all of my sins against people, and sins I don't mean in a religious sense. I mean, you did somebody wrong. You said some things you shouldn't have said. You tried to get over. All those kind of things. I mean, I think we've all done that. Uh, but I think I am being more honest about it. If you listen to me every day, I talk about all my failings, the failings of where I've come from and where I've things I've done. I've never heard anybody doing this admit to being used several times in robberies in the past. I mean, things I'm not proud of. And I talked about Uncle Joe. I'm not going to say his last name. I think he's dead, but I don't, and he's not my uncle. He was just known as Uncle Joe. But who he pressured me when I was a very young man into assisting him. Pressured me, yes, he in assisting him into a major robbery. A major robbery for me at the time. It was grand theft, absolutely. And it's something that it still haunts me to this day. But I did it out of fear. I thought the guy was a mobster, and he was always armed. And as a 23-year-old, and he was probably close to 50, but an established made man. I didn't want to fuck with him, so I did what he said. I don't hear people talking about that. People talking about the mistakes they've made. So uh, I know that doesn't bode well if you're going to run for office to be open and honest about those things. But the fact that you can call me a liar, yeah, sure you can. Probably told a lie within the last week or so. I think most of the lies I tell now are of the little white lie variety. Yeah, sorry, I can't make your show tonight. I have a previous appointment when my previous appointment might be, I just want to smoke some weed and stay home. Those kind of lies. But, not the kind of I'm not fabricating that I worked for Merrill Lynch like George does. I worked for Merrill Lynch and was an executive at Merrill Lynch, all those kind of things, lying about your resume. I'm not saying I'm Jewish when I'm not. I do have I suspect that my maternal grandmother comes from a Jewish background. She's German with the last name Zimmerman with two N's. I think they were from Jewish heritage, but that would make me like 1/8 Jewish blood. I don't consider myself a Jew, and I don't say I'm a Jew, like George Santos, who not Jewish at all, would say. Those kind of lies. But yeah, but again, I think 8 billion people on the planet. If you want to nitpick, I think not even nitpick. I think you can say that every single person on this planet has told lots of lies in their life, and the longer you live, the bigger that number is. Um, so it gave me something to think about, and then um, because lying is the original sin. We talk about, you can get religious on this whole stuff. What is sin? What is original sin? Blah blah blah. And again, not on the religious part of it, but almost every act of evil, every bad act starts with deception and lying. And some of us, listen, if you're a magician, your entire craft is based on deception, which is a lie. And I wasn't a magician. So, but if you're a comedian, last night, by coincidence, as I'm thinking of this stuff, two videos on YouTube come up for me. One is about Bert Kreischer, who they called the worst liar on in comedy. That's what it said. And then Brendan Schwab, who is called the most hated person in comedy. I don't know if that's true. I mean, he's still working, right? But it was all highlighting what liars they are. Again, part of their lies, their entertainment. I'm not sure. It does become a vocational hazard when you leave the stage and you're still telling the kind of lies you were telling on stage. That happens. It definitely happens. But there was something in the news today, overcoming a sea or fact checking a sea of lies, and it was about people like Santos, who is absolutely a pathological liar. He's lied about everything and anything. And there is nothing, you can't believe the guy if he says it's day or night. So it's just curious, degrees of lying. But what prompted this guy to get angry at me? And say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that you're running for office because all politicians lie. All people, all human beings lie. Anyway, I can't even find the thing that got me worked up about lying this morning because it is yeah, it is interesting to see the degree to which some people will go and like Santos. I don't see there's nothing true about anything he's ever claimed. Nothing. It's like every word out of his mouth is a lie. And that's a whole different level. Not to say that what the little white lies, what I call little white lies, are not bad. They are. I won't come in your mouth. Again, if you're on the receiving end of that, that's a bad lie. Anyway. So yeah, I am. By the way, Friday night I was on with Don Sill in the show Don Conversations, and he turned the tables on me. I was the person being interviewed. I don't know if it's out yet. At least put some promo clips out of me talking about why I want to run for Congress, and do I think I can win? Well, obviously, it's a total long shot for me to win a congressional seat, but it was a total long shot for a guy like Santos too, and I'm running for his seat, the seat he occupied now. It was a complete. He was a freak candidate. Freak. I don't mean freaking like I don't know freak show. I mean There's no way he should have gotten through any kind of vetting from his party, much less the public. Um, so there's that. I'm running against a guy who was a free candidate and won in his district, and I don't know who's running on the other side yet. The Democrats have not, uh, gone through their primary season and picked a candidate yet. It's almost certain that the Republicans will go with Santos, and that leaves me as an independent against him and an unknown. And basically, I just went down what I hope to achieve by this. Or if I could just highlight and bring attention to the fact that, and everybody knows this, but they disregard it. Like they don't, they know it, they get worked up about it, and then they don't want to do anything about it. And what I'm talking about is money, dirty money in politics. Every seat in Congress is bought by somebody. Somebody is putting money in the pockets of those people who represent you or who's supposed to be representing you, but they not beholden to you. Once a corporation or a billionaire or a millionaire puts money in your account and you get into office, they're not working for you anymore. They're working for the person who put money, or corporation or entity or PAC or a special interest group that put money in their account. Every single seat is bought by somebody. And I'm running a no money campaign. And of course, I don't expect to win. Of course, I don't expect to. I'd love to, but I don't expect to. I don't expect to even get 1,000 votes if I'm being honest about it. But if I could shine a light and create more attention on this, so people ask, call your congressman, say who are you working for? Who put money in your account? And then find out how they vote on certain issues. Because I guarantee you, they're always voting on any bill or any legislation according to the wishes of the people that put the money in their account. Is that what you want? Is that is the root of our problem in America? If we talk about Democrats and Republicans all day long, the issue is not the people. Although we want to make it about cult of personality, it's not about the people running. It's about the people who own those people running. and people who have office. It's about the people who paid for it. Now, Donald Trump, when he first started, he self-funded campaign, and assholes and imbeciles bought that. He never, even before he said that, he had a CPAC. CPAC. It's a special interest money-raising, fundraising organization to raise money for his community. He was never self-funded in the least. He hasn't put a penny. In fact, he's taken money out of his own campaign. Donald Trump is owned. And he, you can talk about his money, which is very well disputed about how much he actually has and what his assets really are. I think he got a lot richer, obviously, in the White House, as they all do. But to think that he was self-funded or not owned by somebody, you'd have to be really naive, and there's a lot of really fucking naive people in the world who are bought into that. Yeah, I'm for America, but I'm selling hats that were made in China. I'm completely self-funded, but buy my fucking playing cards, and all that stuff. They're all owned. Congress people, even the Supreme Court is owned. All of them. And the more we can shine a light on that, the more we can call them out on that and say, who owns you? And why are you're not working for the people. You're not working for the working class guy. You're not working for real Americans. You're working for corporations and special interests. And my God, people who live in trailer parks and support this whole fucking trickle down bullshit economics, where the rich keep getting richer and you keep expecting that to trickle down to your life, and you've been in a trailer park for 40 years, your life hasn't improved, but you're still banking on trickle down. No trickle down coming. Every time big corporations see big profits, they bank that. They put it in their pockets. They buy private jets. They buy new golf courses, all that kind of stuff. No, nothing's trickling down. Forget about trickle down. But you're too dumb to see it. Again, the education in this country is sorely lacking. And there are people who want to make it even worse and reduce the amount of education that we get. And some people feel like they have to chime in on these things, like, because I don't want to feel left out. I want to feel like my opinion counts. But you don't want to do your fucking homework and actually do a deep dive into any of these issues. You don't even want to check out who owns your politicians. You're not interested in who owns the people who are making decisions for you. You would think, if you really, before you fucking spout off your fucking opinions on social media, maybe you want to check out who owns the assholes who are feeding you your talking points. Yeah, it's Monday morning. I'm fucking cranky. Over the weekend, one of the people I invited to come on the program, I haven't heard yet, but I'm expecting a rejection, is Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson is running for president. She's an actress. She's a new age person. And 4 years ago, she was the craziest person, viewed by people my age especially, and even me, I will admit, even me, as the craziest person to ever run for president of the United States. Now, just 4 years later, she's the least crazy person in either party. And that doesn't mean I think she's totally, competent, or she has some good ideas. But if you compare her to RFK Jr., RFQ is what I call him, or Donald Trump, or Joe Biden, or Cornel West, or even Chris Christie, or Tim Scott, all the people that are running on both sides, she's not as crazy as any of those fucking people. Which is fucking bizarre. In 4 years, you can go from being the most crazy person to ever run for president to becoming the least crazy in either party for a single election, where we're going to have probably upwards of 12 to 15 people throwing their hat in the ring for the 2024 presidential race. Now, in all reality, and she will argue this hard, but it's true. In all reality, she has almost zero chance of winning. But and so why do kind of she has uh, probably a slimmer chance than I do of winning a congressional seat. So why even run? To get the ideas out there, to put your voice out there. Now, she's not well funded. And it comes down to that a lot in a lot of ways. I do think that if it were just 18 to 25-year-olds, those were the only people voting, not only would she win the Democratic nomination, she would win the um, general election easily. If it were just 18 to 25, she's on TikTok. She's messaging to those that demographic and messaging the things that they want to hear. The future generations are aligned with her ideas. Old people like me are the problem with she's not even working on people like me, and she needs to address the concerns of old people like me, or she doesn't have a chance. As much as the young people are important and getting out the young vote is important for these politicians, you can't strictly focus on them. Geezers still count. People in nursing homes still vote. Excuse me. The allergies are fucked up this morning. People in nursing homes still vote. So you got to go on some level. You have to consider every demographic, and she's not. She's working on, and so if she sticks around and keeps running, I don't. 20 years from now, you could definitely see her winning the presidency if she sticks around and keeps presenting the ideas that she's presenting. As those people get older and the new crop keeps coming up, and the 18 to 25-year-old become 35 to 50-year-old at some point, she has a good shot if she can last that long. Anyway, bye. The wife is saying bye for the day. So yeah, I hope to get her on the program. I'm not confident that I will get her on the program. As I was mentioning earlier, I sent out so many interview requests, and I'm not hearing back, and I get depressed. Not clinical depression. I get bummed is probably a better word. Bummed out that I'm not hearing back from people that and not quickly enough. But I have a lot of those people who are not necessarily comedians or musicians coming on, or with feelers out, asking invitations out for those people to talk about some of these things that are probably more serious, definitely more serious than the comedians talk about. Listen, who do you want to get your ideas from? People who actually do the work and do the deep dives into issues, or do you want to get it from people like Roseanne Barr and Joe Rogan, people who read headlines and think of themselves as well informed, but not? They don't do any deep dives. They don't really, really fucking know what they're talking about. And Roseanne knows nothing about what she's talking about. She was scheduled uh, to go to Nevada to speak with Trump at this rally he wanted to have in Nevada. Now, interesting enough, 20,000 Christians signed a petition not to let Trump have a rally on public property in Las Vegas. Christian. So the Christian movement, who has been firmly in his corner, at least in Nevada, said, "No, we've had enough of fucking being lied to, being fooled, and being taken for granted as backing. They're not backing off the Republican or conservative side. They just like sick of Trump." So they signed a petition. Now he'll probably still find a private venue to hold his rally. Roseanne Barr is going to be one of his keynote speakers. Roseanne Barr, who knows not, who doesn't even know. She doesn't even know the name of the country she's claiming to be from. She claimed last week or the week before to be from the Ukraine. Anybody who's Ukrainian would never say the Ukraine. They just call it Ukraine. But she said it at least a dozen times to Pierce Morgan. My people are from the Ukraine. No. If you can't even, it's like it's me saying, my family came from the Italy. The Italy? It's Italy. If you don't know that, you're probably lying. But she's got a history of making crazy shit up, like her incest survivor story that turned out to be a total lie. All those kind of things. And we'll come back to lying and liars and the kind of lies people tell. Roseanne is off the charts with insanity. And here's the thing: she's on X, Twitter, the rebrand, and she responds to a lot of people, not to me, because I give her some shit and basically call her on some of these things. She ignores me, but she will respond to somebody with 20 followers on there or 10 followers who said, you know, comes at her with the uh, democratic uh, point of view. Uh, and because she's hardcore Republican all of a sudden. She never was in the past. She was an Obama supporter, believe it or not. But she's always been inconsistent. But so she wants to argue with the left, but she won't argue with me when on simple issues like truth, truth about stuff, like the fact that she erased all her or deleted all her tweets before 2018. She'd been on Twitter since 2006. She erased 12 years of tweets. Why? Because they showed how fucking batshit crazy she is and how inconsistent she is and how flip-floppy and how she doesn't do, she talks about people should do their own research, do their own homework, and she's never done an ounce of it herself. So I call her crazy, and I tell her she needs to get help, and so she doesn't respond to me. She does need to get help. There's a lot of mental illness, and this is why I said the other day on social media, put this out all over my social media. Are you important? Most of us don't feel important in our lives. I know I said before in this program today, I said I'm a nobody, and I feel like that. That resonates with me. Being a nobody. Uh, what is the bean saying over here? She played an outspoken woman on TV for years, so I find it strange she's personally conservative. Um, that will pass. Good morning, Kelly, and happy Monday to you too. That will pass. She had, she's playing a conservative now, because she got that kind of hair up her ass, but she was just as passionate lefty 6 years ago. She ran for president in 2012 against Obama, and then in 2013 she was for Obama, and passionately so. And everything in her life, she was at points in her life very much a Holocaust denier. And then she calls people Nazis. She also defended George Soros for his participation with Nazis, and then in the very next day, attacked George Soros for being a Nazi. She's fucking crazy. She needs help. She is the epitome of somebody who is just trying to stay relevant, wants to feel smart, wants to feel informed, knows she isn't, but still has to share her opinions anyway. And that's what I was just getting to with this "are you important" thing. Because most of us don't feel important. And it's easy to sit in front of the television and I don't care if you're lefty, righty, whatever it is, to sit in front of a television and get your talking points and just, nod off into almost a trance-like state while pundits on the box are telling you how to think about things. But very few of us actually, whoa, do it. I'm gone. Wow, I'm gone. I don't know why I was gone there for a second. I don't know what happened. Lost connection. Very few of us actually do the work and actually read the bills that we're talking about, and educate ourselves on the actual issues that we're talking about. But everybody wants to feel like they're educated and feel like they have something to contribute. I have an opinion. Yeah, you don't really have an opinion. You got the opinion that was spoon fed to you by whatever you were watching on television last night. Probably it's I lost stream time completely on the radio side. So yeah, I'm gonna uh just see if we can work on this just a bit. But anyway, the point I'm making is you don't have to share your thoughts to make yourself feel important, to have an opinion about things that you have no expertise in. It's as if I felt, let's just say something, pick something out of a hat here. I don't want to say medicine because so many people feel like they have a medical degree now, and they don't. They've never even fucking passed high school biology. I'm going to say carpentry. I know fucking zero. I